Still rocking after all these years.
This is the story of my rock and roll butler.
This is it, the show that started it all. Often imitated, but never equal. From San Francisco, USA, online since 2004. It's the one and only Rock and Roll Geek Show. With the original rock and roll geek, Michael Butler.
Welcome to the Rock and Roll Geek Show. My name's Michael Butler. Thanks a lot for joining me. I really appreciate it. Today is Monday, August something or other, and it's day 11th or 12th. I think it's day 12 of the Dog Days of Podcasting. I think. The Dog Days of Podcasting are where several other podcast geeks and me attempt to do a show a day for the next 30 days, and I think we're into day 12. Regardless, it does not matter, friends. I just finished I'm actually in my car. I'm driving back to work. So this is technically, I guess, a driving with Butler. I just finished having dinner. I've been working in some condo. I paint houses, if you didn't know. Anyway, I have to go back and meet the customer and get paid. So that's why I'm getting this episode done, because I don't have time to do one tonight, because my podcast mentor, Dave Slusher, and I are doing a Mad at Dad at madatdadpodcast.com. We're actually trying something new tonight, because Blab went out of business. We usually do it on a Blab. We'll do a Skype, and I will Skype in with him and do the audio. So I will handle all the music and the audio, and our video would have been through Blab. And Dave Slusher's video is usually muted, and mine usually has the sound of both of us. But we were going to be doing a show on Friday, and on Friday Blab went out of business. So we had to think up a new way to do the show, and Dave Slusher is a super nerd and computer programmer, so he's figured out a way to do it. So we're gonna do it on Skype video. We're gonna embed it into madatdadpodcast.com or somewhere else that Dave Slusher has figured out, and we're gonna do the Mad at Dad tonight. I suspect we have a lot to talk about. We usually just shoot the shit. I'm looking forward to it because we haven't done a show in almost 2 weeks. We have definitely not done a show since the Dog Days of Podcasting, so it'd be good to talk. We can talk about the Dog Days of Podcasting. There is a chance one of the other Dog Days of Podcasters will be on the show as well. We will see. Yesterday, I did an interview with the great Bridget West. She lives in the UK, and I'm a huge fan of hers. If you have not listened to that yet, at rockandrollgeek.com, it's a pretty good interview. We'll do a track by track of her as yet to be unreleased album, which is called From New York with Love, and I'm a huge fan of hers. Before I did that, yesterday, here's my day on Sunday. I had a rare weekend off, so on Sunday I got up in the morning. My wife and I walked the dogs, and I came home and I thawed out some beignets that I pre-made a bunch of beignets and thawed out weekend proportions, and this was the final weekend proportions of the beignets. They were fantastic. I used the recipe from Cafe du Nord. Is it Cafe du? No, from Cafe du Monde, the classic beignet recipe, and I put them in the deep fryer. Oh, they were so fantastic. I'm out of them now, so I have to make up a new batch, but they were really good. And while I was making the beignets, I had planned on going to Home Depot. I hope you're interested in this. If you're not, you can fast forward through this, but I don't know. I'm telling you about my life. So while I was making the beignets, I had planned on going to Home Depot to get some shelving, because I had to put a storage room in my backyard, because I have about 30 guitars, and I have to move the rest of them out of my son's room into a loft space that I have in the garage. But that loft space is taken up by a bunch of boxes of old toys and other things. So we got a storage room, and so the plan was, after I made beignets, I was going to go to Home Depot and get some storage or some shelves, and I got a wild hair in my ass. I don't know what I was thinking, but I just said, I'll bet a fire pit would look nice in my backyard. So I Googled cheap fire pit, and up came a YouTube link of some guy out in the country with a big, huge, long beard and a bald head, and he was making a fire pit. And I said, wow, that looks easy. So I decided, while I was at Home Depot getting shelves for my storage room, that I would buy a bunch of bricks and make a fire pit. And damn it, that's what I did. I went to Home Depot, I bought 68 bricks, dug a little hole in the backyard, and I picked a good spot in the backyard, dug a little hole that was about 36 inches around, and I dug it about, I don't know, the height of a brick, which is, I don't know, 2 inches high or something like that. And I did some bricks in a circle and tried my best to make them level. Then did another layer of bricks and another layer and another layer. I had a total of 4 layers of bricks. And I ended up I bought 68 bricks. I ended up using about 60 of those bricks. I think 14 bricks per layer. I don't know what that comes to, because math ain't me forte. So I made myself a damn fire pit. As I was making the fire pit, I also had an interview with Bridget West scheduled for 11 in the morning. So I was kind of rushing to start the first level of this fire pit while I was waiting for Bridget to ask me to accept her on Skype, because I didn't have her Skype info. So while I was doing that, I had my phone in my pocket with Skype open, and she sent me a Skype and said, hey, I'm ready whenever you are. So I had one level of the fire pit made and went in there and interviewed Bridget West for about an hour and a half or something like that. It turned out to be what I think was one of the best interviews that I've had on the show. Maybe not the best, because I've done a lot of interviews, but it was one of my favorites because she said that she's my biggest fan, because I did so much research on her new album, which, by the way, if you have not listened yet, it is possibly my favorite album of 2016, and that's saying a lot. I have done a lot of track by tracks this year so far, and this is probably my favorite one. And so far my favorite was going to be that I Don't Care, the Paul Westerberg, Julian Hatfield record. But this one I like even better. It's so good and so personal, and the songs are so fantastic, and Bridget West is so fantastic. I'm a huge fan. So I went in, interviewed her. As soon as I finished interviewing her, my wife had bought me a sandwich, so I went up and had a half a sandwich, and then went back down to the backyard, finished this fire pit, and I was eager to try it out. So I had a bunch of applewood logs in the backyard, or in my little barbecue storage room. I threw a bunch of applewood logs on. Well, first I got some charcoal started in the charcoal chimney. And once those were started, I put those in the big hole in the fire pit and threw a bunch of applewood logs on it and started a big fire in my little fire pit. It's not actually little. It's the hole is 24 inches around, or something. Yeah, probably about 22 inches in diameter. The hole. It fits a Weber grill, a great grill grate, perfectly. So I put all these applewood in there, and I said, wow, this looks really nice. I'm going to put my Weber grill grate on, which I bought a brand new one. So I took the old one off my Weber that Shockey got me and put the brand new one in the Weber. So now I had a bunch of applewood logs going in my fire pit and the Weber grill, and I said, what the hell? I'm going to cook some food. So I grilled a shitload of food on my brand new fire pit. I put some chairs around it, put a little plastic table there, broke out some Tecates, and relaxed in my backyard grilling some food. I grilled some sardines. I grilled some skewered halibut cheeks. I grilled some chicken, some chicken thighs, some boneless chicken thighs that I got from the Ninja Japanese market. All this came from the Japanese Ninja market, actually. I grilled some sausages, some Kurabuta sausages. I grilled some Japanese peppers, and I got some donut peaches and threw those on the grill too for dessert. So I sat around all afternoon watching The Preacher on my phone, because Dave Schleicher and I are going to be talking about The Preacher tonight on Mad at Dad. And so I watched a couple episodes of The Preacher, sat around drinking beer and grilling food. I cannot think of a better way to spend a Sunday afternoon. It was quite possibly my perfect Sunday. Started off with some beignets, little home improvement store shopping, which I always like to do, little yard work, interviewing one of my favorite artists in the world, coming back and then grilling some food. That, my friends, to me is a hell of a good Sunday. And I was drinking lots of fine Tecates as I was doing it. All right, I think that's going to do it for me. One more thing, when I interviewed Bridget, I asked her a question about her first album, because we were talking about this guy Rich Jones, who was in the Black Halos, and she said that he didn't play on the first album. And after she sent me a message this morning, said, "Hey, I listened to the interview, it was really great. But I made a mistake. Rich Jones did play on the first album. I really don't want him to hear that I screwed up. What should I do?" And I said, "Okay, I'm doing a show every day this month. I will correct it on tomorrow's show." Because I certainly didn't want to go. I had already posted the episode. I didn't want to go into the episode and edit that out and recut it and repost it and all that shit. So I said I would make good on it tonight. So I'm doing that right now. Rich Jones did play on the first Bridget West and the Desperate Hopefuls records. I know most people could give a crap if it was wrong info or not, but I am a man of my word. It's one thing I will do. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I will do it, friends, unless I forget. So I'm making good. Rich Jones played on Bridget West's first record, and I'm going to close out with the song he played on. It is called How to Be Good. It is on the first Bridget West and the Desperate Hopefuls album, which I did not know was recorded after she got divorced from her husband, who she is now remarried with. So this entire album was made during her divorce, the entire first album. The second Bridget West and the Desperate Hopefuls album was made just recently after she had gotten back with her husband. If you don't know, she was in a band out of New York called the New York Loose back in the 90s, and that album is one of the best albums to come out of the 90s. I already said that. It's a fantastic album. If you like good hard rock and super catchy tunes, look for New York Loose, Year of the Rat. I didn't realize I had the radio going in the background, so if you heard that, I apologize, friends. All right, so I'm going to close out with a song from Bridget West's first album, Bridget West and the Desperate Hopefuls. She is doing a duet with Jesse Malin from D-Generation. And on guitar is Rich Jones from the Black Halos. All right, thanks for joining me, friends. I'll talk to you tomorrow, or if you're around tonight, I'll talk to you tonight on Mad at Dad if you're in the chat room for day 13, I believe, of the Dog Days of Podcasting. You can find this show at rockandrollgeek.com. Area code 706-621-ROCK. That's area code 706-621-7625. What the hell? Put it in your phone right now and give me a call. Just tell me how great you think I am, or tell me how bad the Dog Days shows are sucking, or how much you love a show every day, or how bad the Bridget West interview was, or how great it was, or how I'm the most underrated interviewer in the history of interviewers, or how great... All right, enough of that. Find me on the Facebook, R&R Geek. Find me on the Instagram, Rock and Roll Geek Don't Ask. Find me on the Twitter, R&R Geek. We'll talk to you tomorrow, friends. Here is How to Be Good from Bridget West and the Desperate Hopefuls, from the first Bridget West and Desperate Hopefuls album. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
But it would never last. And I know that you know me
seduction or breaking laws. And I know that you know me well. You have always been able to tell that I don't know how to be good, but still you're kind. You try to ease my mind and say don't feel bad about treating you the way I have.
Maybe there'll be a sweet next time. Won't you be my Valentine? I'll prove it all night, all day too, that I can be good for you. And I know that you know me well. You've been always able to tell that I don't know how to be good, but still you're kind. You try to ease my mind, say don't feel bad about treating you the way that I have. Don't know how to be good. I 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 don't know how to be good.
It's a rock and roll geek train wreck.